Welcome to Dr. Mungli's channel. So let's look at COVID-19 vaccines, especially what are the indications for COVID-19 vaccines, contraindications for COVID-19 vaccines, different types of COVID-19 vaccines that are available, what is the dosage of those vaccines and antibody response, and at the end what actually is the efficacy of these vaccines. Coming to indication for COVID-19 vaccine, so there are very few contraindication if I would like to say. So because any person who is 18 year and above should take a COVID-19 vaccine, because as you go on to watch this video towards the end, you will realize what is the efficacy and how important it is to take COVID-19 vaccination. That means even if a person has any coexisting disorders, especially if someone is hypertensive, if someone is having diabetes, someone is having pre-diabetes, someone is obese, someone is having metabolic syndrome, or someone is having chronic liver disease, chronic kidney disease, asthma, or any lung disorders, pulmonary conditions, for all of them COVID-19 vaccination is indicated. In fact, they are the people who should take this COVID-19 first, because those are the people who are at high risk of getting infected from COVID-19. Now, what are the few contraindications that we have? Let me just concentrate only on the medical contraindications. What are the medical conditions or physiological conditions that are contraindicated for COVID-19 vaccination right now? It is immune compromised patients, severely immune compromised patients whose immunity is not like that of any other individual. So immune compromised state is one of the first contraindication, and then the pregnancy and lactating mother, because studies have not been done sufficiently on indication of COVID-19 vaccine in pregnant women and lactating mother, and also below 18 years of age. Which not really contraindication, it is just like studies are not sufficient studies are done. Now like there are few studies which have started to do in COVID-19 vaccination in children. And then if a person is severely ill or very frail, debilitating illness, maybe that is one of the contraindication, medical contraindication for against COVID-19 vaccination. All right, now let's look into what are the some of the side effects that we get after COVID vaccination. When you look at the benefits of COVID-19 vaccination, the side effects that we get is very negligible, and also they are very temporary, maybe for a day or two. What kind of side effects we get after taking COVID-19 vaccination? It's like in many people, maybe around 50% of people who have received COVID-19 vaccine, they might get into like fever, one of the most common side effect, mild fever, and myalgia like body ache, fatigue, and headache, and some people may have like diarrhea. So these are very common side effects which will stay there for a day or two, and then they will subside by itself, or maybe take paracetamol or Tylenol. All right. Especially with the AstraZeneca, one of the thing that is floating around in the media and the news internet, so like blood clots or hemorrhages, so very few decimal percentage of people who have received AstraZeneca vaccine developed this hemorrhagic condition, blood clotting. It's very negligible percentage when we compare to the efficacy of this vaccine in preventing moderate to severe COVID-19 infection and also death from COVID-19. Now let's look at what all the different types of vaccines that are available broadly. As you see here in this particular figure, so viral protein vaccine like mRNA vaccine, mRNA coding, where mRNA is introduced into host cell, which this mRNA is coding for SARS-CoV-2 gene, that is severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2 gene is introduced, and this gene is going to express a specific protein of coronavirus 2 COVID-19 protein, and our body host immune response is going to secrete antibody against this particular protein, and that's how the immune response against SARS coronavirus 2 will be there in our body. That's mRNA vaccine or nucleic acid vaccine. And then the subunit vaccine, a specific protein subunit of coronavirus like SARS coronavirus 2 is introduced into a host cell, and then body responds to it and make antibodies, and that's how the immunity against SARS-CoV-19 SARS-CoV virus 2 will be there in our body. And then the viral vector vaccine, where a specific gene is introduced into a virus, usually the adenovirus, and that adenovirus is introduced into a non-replicating adenovirus introduced into a host cell, and where the gene is going to express a specific viral protein in the host cell, and host cell recognizes this as a foreign protein, and antibody response against that foreign protein will be done, and then those antibodies are now available to fight against SARS-CoV-2 SARS coronavirus 2 whenever a person infected from SARS coronavirus 2. And also note that just because taking coronavirus COVID vaccination doesn't prevent a person from getting infection from SARS-CoV coronavirus 2, but thing is the severity of infection will be prevented, because a person won't be developing a moderate to severe infection or into death. So that is prevented. Okay, so these are different ways of developing coronavirus SARS-CoV coronavirus 2 vaccine, which is a nucleic acid mRNA vaccine, subunit vaccine, viral vector vaccine, and also inactivated viral vaccine. Okay, so this particular figure here, it's going to give overview of different types of vaccines that are that can be developed against SARS coronavirus 2. As you see here, we have a nucleic acid based vaccine, and then we have protein and peptide subunit vaccines. We have whole virus vaccine, which has been inactivated virus, which contains whole virus or sometimes a subunit of that virus, and viral vector vaccines, non-replicating viral vector vaccine, replicating viral vector vaccines. Only thing is the virus is doesn't lead to severe infection. It's usually the cold virus, adenovirus. All right. What are the different types of vaccines that are currently available in the market? So when it comes to RNA vaccine or the nucleic acid vaccine, where a specific mRNA which is coding for a specific protein, usually the spike protein of SARS-CoV coronavirus 2, is that particular mRNA is introduced by lipid nano particles are infused, and they will go and fuse with our cell membrane enter into the nucleus, and thereby this mRNA is translated into a protein, that subunit of SARS coronavirus 2, and immune response against that foreign protein will be developed. So antibody response will be developed. Okay, so there are two companies making RNA virus vaccine. One is Pfizer Biotech, and then the Moderna. So efficacy in preventing a mild to moderate COVID infection after taking Moderna or Pfizer is 95%. Efficacy in preventing severe COVID infection is 100%, and efficacy in preventing death from coronavirus COVID infection is 100%. Dosage for Pfizer vaccine is 2 doses 21 days apart, And then for Moderna is again 2 doses, 28 days apart. And after taking the second dose, Pfizer vaccine, antibody response is 7 days after the second vaccine, whereas for Moderna, it is 14 days after second vaccine. Coming to viral vector vaccine, adenovirus vector vaccine, some of the examples here is Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine or Sputnik 5 from Russia, Johnson & Johnson and Convidia. So, the efficacy in preventing mild to moderate infection from COVID-19, it is 70 to 90%. I am sorry, I have by mistake I have written it as 7%. Let me just correct that. So, it is 70 to 90% efficacy in preventing mild to moderate COVID infection in this particular group. And then efficacy in preventing severe COVID infection is 90 to 100%, those who have vaccinated, and efficacy in preventing death from COVID infection is 100%. And also doses for Oxford AstraZeneca is 2 dose 28 days apart, and that is changing now. Some countries say like it's 6 to 8 weeks and some countries follow it as 12 weeks apart. Okay. So, that is 28 days is when it was initially proposed, and now the second dose timing is changing. Okay. And then the antibody response, it takes 14 days after second dose to develop the antibody response. Now, inactivated virus vaccine, where in this particular thing what they will do is they will isolate SARS-CoV coronavirus 2 and then culture it. And after culturing, virus is inactivated by heating it or by using formaldehyde, heat inactivation or formaldehyde inactivation, and then that inactivated virus is given as an vaccine. Okay, so basically this is an inactivated vaccine, do not replicate in the body, but the protein and all the entire proteins and content of the virus is considered as a foreign, and our body responds to it, like antibody response will be there, and we develop antibodies to fight against the live coronavirus just in case if we get infected. What is the efficacy? Efficacy in preventing this from mild to moderate COVID infection is around 80%. Different inactivated virus vaccines are available here. Covaxin, which is an Indian made vaccine, and then we have Covivac, CoronaVac and all this. Efficacy in preventing from severe COVID infection for the inactivated virus vaccine, it is 80 to 100%. Efficacy in preventing death from COVID infection is 100%. Okay. So, coming to subunit vaccine. Subunit vaccine is a subunit, a part of a SARS-CoV coronavirus 2 is isolated, usually the spike protein or something, and then that subunit is given as a virus along with the adjuvant, because adjuvant increases the senses the immune response against this particular subunit protein. We have two such vaccines, subunit vaccine, Epivac Corona and RBD dimer. Efficacy data is not currently available. So, looking at all this, as you see from the table here, whichever the vaccine that a person takes, there is an efficacy in preventing mild to moderate COVID infection, preventing severe infection, and for sure preventing death from COVID infection. All vaccines, as you see from this table, 100% prevention from COVID infection, death from COVID infection. Efficacy in preventing severe COVID infection is almost 100%. Efficacy in preventing mild to moderate COVID infection in most of these in vaccines, it is from 70 to 95%. Remember that. So, that means getting vaccinated for sure is going to prevent us from mild to moderate to severe infection and for sure death from COVID infection. So, there is a great advantage in taking COVID vaccination rather than avoiding it. So, whenever it is available, wherever you are, whichever the type of vaccine that is available. If there is no other options available, like if you are looking for a specific type of vaccine to get vaccinated, if you don't get that in time, you may consider taking the available vaccine, because as you see from this table, any vaccine, any kind of vaccine, whether it is a RNA vaccine, vector vaccine, inactivated virus vaccine, all of them have almost similar efficacy in preventing from severe infection, and for sure from preventing from death from COVID infection. So that's all from my side about COVID vaccination. I hope this video has helped you in understanding some of the mechanism, types, efficacy, dosage of coronavirus vaccine. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you like this video. If you like the video, so please like, comment, share, subscribe, and again, thanks for watching. Stay safe. See you again in my next video. Till then, you take care and stay safe. Thank you.